My salary has been credited. What? 8,000 of deduction. But why? Let me call to HR. Hello? Yeah, this is Yaswanth speaking. Like, I just got my monthly salary. I found 8,000 extra deductions. May I know the reason why? TDS? What's TDS? Income tax. How to get them back? Because I'm paying my house rent and I'm investing on many things, but I don't know how to declare. Can you help me out of this? ITR? So I need to file ITR to get back my deducted amount. How to do that? Hello? Hello? This is a problem faced by many of the people because they don't know what income tax is. They don't know what ITR is. They don't know what different ways that you can save tax on. If you are a student, fresher, or an individual who are about to pay your first income tax, there might be a lot of confusion for you to understand these terms. What is income tax? Who needs to pay income tax? And how the income tax will be charged? What is TDS? What is income tax return? There are various terms that are associated with income tax, and that might confuse you. When my salary fell into the tax paying slab for the first time, I faced a lot of issues. So I literally didn't understand what income tax is, why one should pay income tax, and do I need to pay 10% of tax or 15% of tax, and what is TDS, what is ITR, do we really need to file ITR, and is it mandatory to pay income tax, and is it mandatory to file for income tax returns, and if so, what are the documents that we need, what are form 16, and yeah, these are all the things that I can say blabber your mind when you are about to pay your first income tax. And I researched a lot and I found out entirely about income tax returns, and why do we need it. Do you know one thing? So even though you are not someone who are about to pay income tax, but filing your income tax return is very mandatory. So there are cases like your bank loan may get rejected, your visa may get rejected if you're not filing ITR. So ITR is mandatory for every individual, irrespective of whether you are paying income tax or not. But yeah, these are the things no one will teach you. So even when you join in a company, HR people they will just, I can say, show a presentation on what are all the different things, but actually no one cares about them in a proper way. So I thought of making a video for everyone so that people will not get confused and they are ready with all the things that they need in order to go into tax declarations and various things that are associated with income tax. So let's see one by one. What we are actually going to cover in this video is what is income tax, why you need to pay income tax, and how much income tax do you need to pay. And there are some terms like tax deducted at source, tax declaration, and all those things. And also I will also explain you what is income tax return, how can you actually do that, and what are all the documents that you need in order to do that. And yes, don't get confused, because I'm going to explain everything in a simple way. Please don't skip the video, because everything that I'm going to tell in this video is very much important for you, because I saw many people, even people with experience of more than 5 to 7 years, they still don't know how to pay income tax, how to file income tax return. They just depend on others for this. But don't ever go into that situation, because your finance is your responsibility. So let's get into the video. The first thing, what is income tax? So income tax is something that you need to pay to the government for earning certain amount of income annually. So there are various income tax slabs that I can say, because like if you fall under a particular income zone, then you need to pay a certain amount of income tax. If you're earning more than 5 lakhs, you need to pay something. If you're earning more than 7.5 lakhs per annum, you need to pay some tax. So if you are a taxpayer, which means you're indirectly contributing to the country's finance. So income tax is very much important. And if you fail to pay the income tax, then ultimately you may land into various problems. So there are various litigations, there are various issues that you need to face if you fail to pay income tax. And specifically, if you're a salaried employee, your company will take care of everything. I will tell you how it happens. So this is what income tax is. And you need to know which income slab you fall under and how much tax you need to pay for particular income slab. So, and previously people with more than 2.5 lakhs of annual income need to pay income tax. But nowadays, there is a new regime that comes recently. So according to that new regime, you don't need to pay income tax up to 5 lakhs annual income. So let's see how the difference between old regime and new regime will look like, how much tax that you need to pay. You can see here, this is the difference between old regime and new regime. So observe this carefully. So just concentrate on new regime for now, because under new regime, you can save a lot of tax. That's the reason why you should look for that, the right column here. If you can see your salary, if your salary fall under 2.5 lakhs per annum, then you don't need to pay any tax. So your tax is absolutely nil. And even if you fall under 2,50,000 to 5 lakhs, you don't need to pay income tax. And once your salary crosses 5 lakhs, and if your salary ranges anywhere between 5 lakhs to 7 lakhs 50,000, then you need to pay 10% of income tax. And if your salary is between 7.5 lakhs to 10 lakhs, then your income tax rate will be 15%. And if your salary is between 10 lakhs to 12.5 lakhs, then your income tax rate will be 20%. And if it's between 12.5 lakhs to 15 lakhs, then your salary will be 25%. And if your salary is 15 lakhs and above, then your income tax is 30%. So it means the maximum tax that you can pay to the government for your income is 30%. So if you're someone, just concentrate on what actually your CTC is. And if your CTC falls below 5 lakhs, then you don't need to worry about paying income tax, but still you need to file it here. I will tell you how it works. Now we will see another concept called TDS. What actually is TDS? Like if you're working in a company, so if your primary income is from your employer, then you might heard this term called tax deducted source. So what actually is this TDS? TDS is something that I can say it's a benefit to the employees, because you don't need to take care about your income tax. So your tax will be automatically deducted at source, which means your employer will deduct the tax from the salary. And so how it helps you is you don't need to pay income tax specifically, because your company is already deducting your tax from your enhanced salary. So it is the advantage that you will get from TDS. But did you get a question like how we can actually save income tax? So if you're earning something, let's say if you're earning 80,000 per month, and up to 8,000 to 9,000 rupees will be deducted from your income tax, then you might feel like, is there any way to save tax? Yes, there are ways to save tax. So there is no such rule that your income tax will be deducted every month in the same way. You can save tax. So how you can actually save tax? So before jumping on into how you can actually save tax, I will explain the procedure. In general, the taxable year, the financial year will start from April current year to March next year. So which means if it is 2021, the financial year will start from April 1, 2021, and it ends on March 31, 2022. So let's consider the previous year. If you fall under taxable income in April 1, 2020 to March 31, 2021, this year, if you earn more than what is permissible under the tax law, which means if you're earning more than 5 lakhs in the last financial year, then you need to pay income tax for this year. From, I can say, April this month, you need to pay income tax. And how you can actually do that? So this is how in general income tax works. You need to pay income tax based on your last financial year's income. So let us suppose how the income tax process will work. So this year, let's suppose you're starting your year. So we have now crossed April 1, 2021. So now we are under the taxable year. So you need to declare your tax. See, in general, companies will ask you to declare your tax starting from April, and it may last to September or October. Some companies even allow you to declare your tax. What is this tax declaration? Declaration is like if you want to save your income tax to get reduced, or then ultimately you need to declare, like if you have any investments, if you have prior investments, then you need to declare that in advance. This is called tax declaration. So remember, tax declaration starts from the phase of tax declaration starts from April every year. So you need to declare through your employer portal. So if you're working for a company, every company have a portal for, to maintain all these taxes. You need to declare there. You don't need to submit proofs now. That will be asked later, but initially you need to declare your investments. So what are all the investments that you can declare to save tax? The first one is house rent allowance. So if you're living in a rented house, then you can save tax from that. I mean, if you're paying less than 8,000 per month as a rent, then you don't need to submit any proofs and declare anything, because house rent up to 8,333, which means 1 lakh per year, is automatically, I can say, you can save tax from that income. So you don't need to pay income tax for that. And if your rent is more than that 8,333, then you need to submit a rental agreement. Let's say most of them will submit rental agreement. And apart from that, you also need to know your owner's PAN number, because that is where you need to enter that in the tax declaration itself. You need to enter the rent that you are paying per year. I mean, that you are going to pay per year. I mean, you are declaring tax for the current year, which means April 2021 to March 2022. So how much rent that you will pay in the future? I mean, for this particular year, you need to declare that. So let's suppose your rent is 10,000 per month, then your total, I mean, annual rent is 1,20,000. You need to declare that. And you also need to enter your owner's PAN number, which is very much important. And you also need rental agreement, but you don't need to submit that in the declaration form. You need to submit that later. I will tell you that again. And the other way that you can save tax is by using ATC. ATC is like investments. So whatever investments that you make, you can save tax from those investments. And you can save up to 1.5 lakhs per annum through this ATC. So if you're investing on provident fund, so in general, every company, you should have invested in provident fund, employee provident fund. So it will be automatically deducted. So you can save tax on that. And if you're taking any other schemes like public provident fund, you can also mention that detail so that you can save some tax. Your taxable income will get reduced if you're investing more and more. And if you're if you are in mutual funds, you are investing in mutual funds, you can also mention that under ATC. You can also save tax based on that. And if you are investing in equity shares, you can also mention that. And if you are paying your children tuition fee, you can also include that and you can save tax. So whatever the investment that you make, you can cover under ATC and you can save tax here. So you need to declare all these things. What are all the things that you are eligible? So if you're investing somewhere, I can say declare that in your employer portal that under ATC I'm investing in public provident fund, I'm investing for I can say tuition fees, or I'm investing for mutual funds. You can mention what are all the things that you are part of so that you can save some tax. And the other way that you can save tax is by using 80D. 80D is like if you have taken any medical insurance, you can claim that. So under 80D, you can save up to 25,000 per year. When you are taking any medical insurance, you can mention the details and you can save up to 25,000 through 80D. And there is another thing called 80G. So 80G is like if you are donating somewhere, make sure like you collect the receipt so that you can save tax. So if you are donating to some charity, you will be given some receipt that will help you to save tax. And if you're donating to any relief funds or PM relief fund, whatever it might be, you can also get some receipt there. That will help you to save tax under 80G. So these are all the different ways that you can save tax in your tax declaration. So during tax declaration, so which means the start of the financial year, every company will ask you to enter all these details. So you can write all these details there. You can declare all these details there so that your TDS will automatically adjust it based on that. Let's suppose if your taxable income is like, if your salary is like 80,000 per month and general like 8 to 9,000 will be deducted from your salary. But after making all these declarations, your tax will fall down. I mean, the tax that needs to be deducted will reduce based on the investments that you declare. So let's suppose you are declaring house rent allowance and you have some investments or mutual funds or something, or you have taken some medical insurance. If you declare all these details in your declaration portal, then ultimately the tax should fall like 5,000 to 4,000. So it is not the 8,000 to 9,000 that actually needs to be deducted. That amount of tax that should be deducted from your salary will be reduced. It is the advantage of TDS, and it is the advantage that companies gives you to declare tax early. Now it's over. Now you have declared the tax, but what are all the proofs? What is the proof that the investments that you declare are real? So every phase, during the end of the financial year, in generally financial ends on March 31. So companies ask from January itself, most of the companies, to submit proofs of the investments that you have declared. So I told you, like if your rent is more than 8,000, try to maintain a rental agreement. So you need to submit that rental agreement during that January to March phase. And also if you're investing somewhere, you will get at least some proof to your email ID or whatever it might be. So, or if you're paying your tuition fees, there might be some receipts. If you're donating somewhere, there might be some receipt. You need to collect all these receipts and you need to submit as a proof. And if you fail to submit the proofs, then you will be charged some fine because you have declared that I can say you are investing somewhere. And if you fail to submit that, I mean, your tax is not deducted for those because you have declared that you are investing on something. That's the reason why your tax is reduced. Now, if you fail to submit the documents, then ultimately from the next financial year, you will be charged more tax and you will be fined for that. So don't get into that situation. Make sure whatever you declare is correct and you maintain proofs for that. So it is the process of TDS and tax declaration and tax proof submission. So it is what you need to do in every financial year if your salary is above 5 lakhs per annum. Now, there is an interesting concept called ITR, income tax return. So income tax return, what actually is this income tax return? So in generally, the purpose of ITR is to get back the income tax that you paid for. But because it was like, so if you have declared all the proofs correctly, I mean, you can file the empty ITR, you can fill all the details, you can check there. You will not get any tax, but still you need to file ITR. So ITR is mandatory for every individual who are in the tax zone and even people who are not in the tax slab. I will tell you why. Because if you apply for a bank loan, then ultimately people will ask you to submit your ITR for the last 2 years or 3 years maybe. And if you're applying for an international visa, you need ITR as a mandatory, even though your salary is not 5 lakhs per annum. You just need to fill all the details there. But still, if you fill the ITR, you will get an acknowledgement. That is very much important. And if you're falling in the tax slab, so for suppose you fail to declare your tax, on April or May, then April and May salaries of you will have more tax deducted. Then you declare all your proofs on June. But what about the April and May deduction? You're paying rent on April, May too, but you fail to declare, then your tax will be deducted. You can get return of all the tax through ITR. If you file the ITR, so if you submit the proofs again there, then ultimately you can return your tax. So if everything is perfect, then you don't need to think about getting any returns, but still you need to file ITR. It is very much mandatory because people who fail to, I can say, file their income tax returns may experience some problems in the future. It is very much mandatory. Even though you're earning 2 lakhs per annum or 2.5 lakhs per annum, still you need to file ITR. I will tell you the process of filing ITR now. So what are all the documents that you need before going into income tax site and filing ITR? The first document that you need is Form 16. What actually is this Form 16? Form 16 is the proof of TDS that your employer deducts from your salary. So if your employer is deducting TDS from your salary, then they will give you a Form 16. So in generally, I can say employers give you Form 16 by June 15 every year. So you need to have that. And you need to file ITR by July 31 or August 31. It depends on, I mean, it may changes, but yeah, once after companies give you Form 16, then you need that document. If you are being a part of TDS, I mean, if your employer is deducting TDS from your salary, you will be given this Form 16. They will send you to mail or they will keep that Form 16 in employer portal. You need to download that. And they will also submit that to the income tax department that they are deducting tax from you. So Form 16 is something that you need to keep in handy before filing ITR. And Form 16 is all about the deductions from your tax. That's it. And the company, if your company is deducting tax from your salary, then they will provide you Form 16 with all the details of your deductions. Next, the other document that you need before filing ITR is Form 16A. So what is the difference between Form 16 and Form 16A? Form 16A is separate. Like if you are earning other income from different sources, then it will be considered under Form 16A. I will tell you an example. So if I am doing a job, so that whatever the tax that is deducted from my salary will comes under Form 16. But if I'm earning through other sources too as well, like if I'm earning from YouTube, and if I'm earning from teaching online courses, and if I'm earning from any freelancing projects, then I will also receive some income. So that is also taxable. So you need to remember that you also need to pay income tax for that. So most of the organizations, like if you're teaching, like if I'm earning money from YouTube, then YouTube will automatically deduct tax, and they will also follow this TDS rule, and they will give me the money after deducting my tax. If I'm earning from Udemy, let's suppose, Udemy will also pay me my monthly money by deducting the taxes. After deducting the taxes, so they will also have this TDS. And whatever I do, like there will be a TDS for every place. So all these investments which are not from your primary source of income will comes under Form 16A. So there are two options for this. The first thing is you can submit all these details in your employer itself, in your primary employer itself. Like you are doing a job, you can also submit these details in the tax portal of your company. But many of the employees will not prefer to, disclose their other earnings to their company. So in that case, you can directly enter all these details in the income tax website. So open your income tax website and enter all the details of your other earnings, and so that your tax will be deducted based on that. And if your tax is already deducted for that, it's okay. You can generate Form 16A easily there. And see, if you submit all these details to a company, then they will provide you Form 16A too. So this is the way that you get your Form 16A. Form 16A include all the details of your earnings apart from the company. So you can also find them in your employer portal, in your company portal. You will find Form 16 and Form 16 in your company portal. You can just download them. So if you are eligible for tax, then ultimately you will get these documents in your company portal. Even though if you're not eligible for tax, even though you will get those documents, but still it shows nothing. Like it shows your taxable income is 0. That's it. But having those documents is important. The other document which is mandatory is Form 26AS. What is this Form 26AS? Nowadays, every income of an individual is linked to their PAN card. So if you open this income tax filing, then ultimately you will find this one called Form 26AS, which means it includes everything that is a part of your income, whether it might be the details that are included in Form 16, Form 16A, and other interest that you're earning. Like if you're earning from bank interest, or if you're earning from stocks, if you're earning from other resources, whatever it might be. So wherever it is, you must need to, just submit your PAN card, right? So if something related to money, then you need to submit your PAN card. Then ultimately all the details are recorded in your PAN card. So Form 26AS, it contains every income source and every income that is landed to your bank account. So you will find all the details, all the, credits from other sources or whatever it might be. And it includes all the details that are there in Form 16 and Form 16A too. So you can cross verify once. Like if in the ITR website, you will see all your incomes there. It will be automatically fetched, because as PAN is linked to every income source, it will be automatically fetched in the income tax website. Once you log in and once you register your details, then it will automatically be fetched. So when you open ITR filing, you will see the Form 26AS, which contains all the details of your earnings. So it should match with Form 16 and Form 16A, because Form 26AS will also include details from Form 16 and Form 16A. You don't need to upload anything in the ITR website, because it automatically fetches all your earning details. So this is one document that is very much important. And you can see your Form 26AS, because it's important, because you can find all your earnings there. And if anything is wrong, you can correct there. So it is what Form 26AS is. And the fourth important document that you need is interest certificate. So if you have an FD account or RD account in any bank, so then you will get some interest, right? For your FD, you also need to pay tax for that. If you fall under the tax loan, like if your annual income is more than 5 lakhs per annum, then that 5 lakhs might not be the only primary source of income. All your incomes calculated, if your income crosses 5 lakhs per annum, then you are eligible for tax. So if you are earning some interest from your fixed deposit or whatever it might be, you need to get interest certificate. So if you have an online FD account, then ultimately banks will issue that interest certificate if you request them, or if you're taking them physically, you can directly go to the bank and ask them the interest certificate. You need that interest certificate. If you don't have any investments on fixed deposit, then you don't need to worry about that. And still, people who are not eligible for income tax, you don't need to worry about Form 16, Form 16A, Form 26As, and all those things. You can directly open ITR website. You can check all the things there, and you can directly submit next and submit. That's it. But yeah, this is mandatory for those who are eligible for income tax. If you have been deducted tax from your salary, then ultimately you need to look at all these things. You have awareness on Form 16, you have awareness on Form 16A, and you need to cross verify in the Form 26AS that is available in the ITR website, and you need to submit interest certificate there. And the other thing that you need is investment related certificate. So I told you, so if you're investing on mutual funds or any equity shares, whatever it might be. So if it's equity shares or mutual funds, you will get a document from that provider. So you also need to maintain that. And yes, these details will also be included in your form 26AS. So you can cross verify again. You also need to have the knowledge on investment related certificates. Whatever the investment that you made, you need to have the proof for that. It is mandatory to have them at you, because if you have that investment certificates with you, you can cross verify with form 26AS. It is mandatory. And the last thing and the basic thing that you need before filing ITR is your Aadhar Card. When you're filing ITR for the first time, you need to enter your Aadhar Card details and you need to verify your PAN. Then only it will fetches you all your details. So it is also mandatory. And which ITR to file? So when you open ITR website, income tax filing website, when you try to file your income tax return, so you will be asked to choose from 4 different ITRs: ITR 1, ITR 2, ITR 3, and ITR 4. What is the difference between all those things? So remember, I don't want to confuse you people. So if you fall under the category of, if your annual income is below 50 lakhs and you are earning income only from different sources apart from business, then you need to choose ITR 1. Because if you choose ITR 1, which means your annual income is below 50 lakhs and you're not part of any business. And if your annual income is more than 50 lakhs per annum, then you need to choose ITR 2. And if you're earning money based on your business, then you need to choose ITR 3. And there is a special category called IPR 4 for people who are paying fixed income tax every year. So you don't need to worry about that. If your salary is below 50 lakhs per annum, choose ITR 1. If it's more than 50 lakhs, choose ITR 2. And if you're earning income based on business, then or some investments, then choose ITR 3. So mostly people, I mean, the ordinary people, ordinary residents will choose ITR 1 or ITR 2 if your income, I mean, I can say falls above 50 lakhs. ITR 3 is for people who do businesses and earn income based on that. Or if you have any, I can say properties, you're selling properties or something, if you get income based on that, then you need to do ITR 3. So leave about the remaining, choose ITR 1 or ITR 2 if you are a job holder or ordinary resident of the country. So now I will also give you a quick roadmap of how the ITR website will look like and how you need to pay your income tax. So you can see this is the official website of Income Tax India. So you can do multiple things here. If you can see, this is the homepage, you will see the taxpayer services. Click this taxpayer services. So you can see different options here. So if you want to file income tax, you can also do that. But I'm showing it mainly for people who want to file income tax returns. So because TDS is already being deducted from your salary and other incomes, so you need to file income tax returns. You don't need to pay income tax separately. But yes, if you have any other income sources which are not being listed on any TDS, then you need to pay income tax separately. You can do that in this website, but leave about it. If you're just a salary employee or if you're an individual who has a clear information about the TDS and the taxes that your salary has been deducted, then you need to visit this website. You can see here, there is an option called file income tax return. You can see like you need to log in here. So if you're filing it for the first time, you need to click this register, so that it will ask you all your basic details like your PAN, your details, so that it fetches all your details. Once you have registered, then ultimately you can log in here. Once you logged in, you will be shown all your details there. So I don't want to share my personal details here, but yeah, it's very simple. Once you fill your basic details, then ultimately an account will be created for your income tax return filing. So you can directly enter those login details and you will see it will automatically fetch all your details. You also need to enter your bank account details in this register tab. So once after you enter all these details, then you will be asked to verify, Aadhar based OTP verification. And so once you are done, you can directly log in there and it will automatically fetches all the tax details. And it will also show you form 26AS, which contain all the details of your deductions. So it's very simple. Just log in and just check all the details. And if it's everything is okay, then file return. That's it. You don't need to spend hours. You don't need to upload anything. You don't need to do anything. You only need to register for the first time. And from the next time, You just need to log in there and you need to check all those details. And if there are any other income sources that is showing here, you need to enter some beta. It asks you like how much you earn for this particular income or something. So if you already have the documents, so like form 16 here, you can look into them and you can enter some basic details. That's it. It is so simple. You don't need to depend on CAs or any external brokers to do this, because your finance is your responsibility. You need to manage all your taxes very effectively, because tomorrow anything can happen. So if you have the knowledge and idea of what all the income tax that you have paid so far and how much is the tax that you have paid so far, and if you're filing your income tax return annually without any delay, then it is very beneficial for you, because if you apply for loans in the future, it creates a big impact. And if you try to move out of the country, or if you want to apply for international visa, ITR is must. So that's all about this video. So I hope you now understand the clear picture of what actually income tax is and what actually is income tax return, why you need to fill income tax return, what all the different ways that you can save tax. We also talk about TDS and ATC, ATD, ATG, different types of investments that you can use to save tax from, and how to file ITR. So I hope you all know the entire process now. So I hope this is meaningful for you and this is something that you are looking for. And if you really feel like this is helpful for you, please spread the word about this video in your network by sharing this video. Also, please like, comment, and if you are expecting anything from me through my YouTube channel, please write down in the comments. Also, if you're a new visitor to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.